Right now at 10, Wisconsin is ranked in one of the hardest states to vote in. Political experts say it's not stopping people going to the polls. And there's more school referendums on Wisconsin ballots than in the past 10 years. Educators say it's because of the state budget. Plus, fall colors are coming. When to expect the Coulee region to have peak autumn foliage.
You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now at 10.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for News 8 Now at 10. I'm Ken Kozarowski. Amy is off tonight. And before we get to those stories, let's quickly check in with Chief Meteorologist Bill Grahl, who's got some frost in the forecast. Good evening, Bill.
Good evening. That I do. In fact, some areas could see frost the next 3 nights. So it's not just tonight that you're going to need to kind of be on guard if you're one of those that wants to keep your plants alive and also protect that outdoor plumbing. Now, highs today, lower to middle 60s for most, 64 now the official high out at the La Crosse Airport, 60 in Eau Claire, 58 in Verona. Kind of a neat time lapse for you with a mainly clear sky this evening. Beautiful afterglow there with the twilight, and skies have been clear over the past couple of hours, and you can see that from above as well. Just some high and mid-level clouds over eastern parts of the state. Temperatures already starting to dip. 48 in La Crosse, 46 in Eau Claire, already down to 35 at the Black River Falls Airport, 40 in Sparta, and 46 in Verona. So clear, mostly clear at least. Light winds, overnight lows in La Crosse around 41, but colder to the north and east where some frost is possible. In fact, a frost advisory in play, which I will detail coming up. First of all, check your schoolcast for tomorrow. Again, that chilly start, 53 by lunchtime, and another cool day with a mostly sunny sky. Highs only around 59 degrees. Keep in mind our average high is 71. Again, I'll detail the frost advisory for tonight and also tell you just how cold it's going to get the next couple of nights with my 8-day forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Bill. Let's get back to those stories. The midterm election is weeks away, and according to the latest edition of Cost of Voting in America, Wisconsin is one of the hardest states to cast a vote in. News 8 Now's Dua Israr spoke to political experts who explain why Wisconsin has seen an increase in voting regulations.
When it comes time to vote in November,
how inconvenient it is to register and to vote.
Some Wisconsinites may find it hard to cast their ballot.
I think for students who I'm encouraging to vote, they encounter some challenges.
Political expert Joe Heim says statewide there have been regulations and restrictions on registration, voter IDs, absentee ballots, and drop boxes.
So Wisconsin has had its share of restrictions.
For voter Carla Zell, changes to the state voting laws hasn't impacted her.
To me, it's about the same. I typically vote in person. I go to the poll.
But voter Keith Knutson says not everyone can say the same.
What about our homeless population? They don't have an address. Are they going to be able to vote? And do we think they should not be able to vote simply because they're homeless? So I think we've got a lot of issues here in the United States.
Although claims of widespread voter fraud were disproven, political analyst Joe Heim says the rise of frequent voting laws is a result of the 2020 election.
In an attempt to solidify elections and make them more secure, make them more trustworthy, one party has passed a series of laws to avoid voter fraud.
Heim says while voting laws may continue to be passed, a majority of Wisconsinites aren't being affected.
Well, Wisconsin was in the top 5 in terms of national voting in the 50 states, and we are still in the top 5.
Instead, voters are continuing to cast their ballots in record-breaking numbers. Reporting in La Crosse, Dua Israr, News 8 Now.
Wisconsin's August primary saw the highest voter turnout in 40 years. It's a trend that Heim says is expected to continue for this upcoming election on November 8th. In the meantime, Democratic candidate for Wisconsin's 3rd Congressional District, Brad Pfaff, held a roundtable with military veterans today in Bangor. The current state senator says it's important to hear what kind of issues are important to those who've served our country. Now, one Desert Storm veteran who attended the roundtable says not all veterans support the direction Pfaff's opponent, Derek Van Orden, has taken leading up to this election. The veteran says he's embarrassed and discouraged by Van Orden's presence at the January 6th attack on the Capitol.
I think it speaks to the judgment and, again, the hypocrisy. You can't be a patriot on Monday and an insurrectionist on the next day and come back here and wrap yourself in the flag. As a veteran, a war veteran, I watched the events of January 6th unfold, and it was like a kick in the stomach to me. And a lot of emotions went through my head, but the last thing I thought I should do was be there.
Now, Pfaff says Van Orden attending the insurrection is a major sticking point for veterans that he has spent time with.
You know, this is not a point of valor. January 6th was not a point of valor. That is something that was extremely unpatriotic. That is not the conduct that is becoming of you know, the veterans that I've been speaking with.
Now today, Van Orden released a statement saying his military experience allows him to understand the issues facing the veteran community. As for January 6th, Van Orden released an op-ed to the La Crosse Tribune a week after January 6th, where he watched, quote, what should have been an expression of free speech devolve into one of the most tragic incidents in the history of our nation. He also wrote that he left the area when it became clear that the protest had become a mob. Wisconsin's Republican Assembly Leader Robin Vos is suing to block a subpoena ordering him to testify before the House Oversight Committee. The committee investigating the January 6th Capitol attack plans to ask Vos about a conversation he had with former President Trump in July about steps he was taking to overturn the 2020 election results. Vos says the subpoena falls outside the scope of the committee's investigation and that he has no information on the January 6th attacks. He says the subpoena is, quote, more about partisan politics than actual fact-finding. You already pay taxes to keep schools open, teachers employed, and children learning, but after this fall, many Wisconsinites might be paying a lot more. The highest number of school districts in the last decade are seeking extra help through referendums on both the spring and November ballot, some for basic budget needs. The Verona School District is one of 9 in Dane County seeking more funding.
In the last two-year budget cycle, we got $0 new per student. And that's the money most school districts use to budget for recurring expenses into the future.
He's talking about the budget passed by the state legislature, which cited millions in one-time federal COVID funds as a reason to not bump up school funding. State Superintendent Jill Underly called out the legislature on the issue last week in her State of Education speech.
If the legislature spent just 1/6 of the current taxpayer-funded budget surplus on schools, it could make such a difference.
For a breakdown of all Wisconsin districts going to referendum, we have a link available at news8000.com. A conservative Wisconsin news outlet is suing the Wisconsin Parole Commission. Wisconsin Right Now alleges the commission is refusing to comply with open records requests. The outlet has multiple articles about violent offenders who received parole under Democratic Governor Tony Evers' administration. A reporter for Wisconsin Right Now requested names of all offenders released since Evers appointed the commission's chairman in 2019. The lawsuit says the commission provided information through 2021 and promised to send more records, but they stopped communicating with the news outlet. When it comes to school safety, noticing even the smallest things can make a big difference. Speak Up, Speak Out is a government program that takes confidential tips from anyone with concerns over school safety. The program released its latest data report today, showing there's a 15% increase in tip submissions from last school year compared to the year before. Anyone who has a school violence-related tip can submit it on the program's website, app, or tip line. Analysts get the tips and alert local authorities. Now, Wisconsin's Attorney General Josh Kaul, who has worked with this program, believes the responses have led to successful intervention in moments of crisis.
Students who engage in school violence often go on a pathway to that violence, and the earlier in the process we can intervene, the less likely it is that an incident's going to happen.
The latest report reveals that the highest percent of reports are ones of bullying at just over 26%. Threats of suicide are next, followed by reports of drugs, guns, and weapons. The program was first funded by a federal grant and is currently running under ARPA funds. Kaul says there's a proposal in the works to fund Speak Up, Speak Out at the state level once the federal money dries up. Still ahead tonight, Governor Evers tours a first-of-its-kind mental health unit. This new unit is for patients who don't meet criteria for an inpatient stay, but still need some extra help. And later, a couple of young barn owls found in the La Crosse area are reaching the end of their stay at a raptor rehab center.
Dear gas prices, my lineup brings serious savings. We got this. Toyota Hybrids.
Get 2.49% APR for 48 months on Toyota's most popular 2022 models. Toyota. Let's go places.
At a company, the culture comes from the top. Tim Michaels' company has been sued numerous times over sexual assault and harassment in the workplace. Women who worked for Michaels' company said they were groped, assaulted, and pressured to have sex with their bosses. Higher-ups at Michaels dismissed the women as liars and even fired those who spoke out. Is that what we need for Wisconsin? Tim Michaels, too radical, too divisive.
Hypnotize your way to savings.
Breathing techniques to help you save.
Looking to make saving a habit?
Yeah, what's the secret?
No secret. Just open a savings account at BMO and we'll give you a cash reward for every month you save.
A cash reward? Just for saving?
Mm-hmm. And when you open a checking account, we'll give you a $300 bonus to get your new savings habit started.
Love that.
What's your book? How to get a $300 bonus and a monthly cash reward for saving with BMO.
He literally wrote the book on saving.
That's me on the cover.
When a bank helps you make real financial progress, that's the BMO effect.
Dear gas prices, my lineup brings serious savings. We got this. Toyota hybrids.
Get 2.49% APR for 48 months on Toyota's most popular 2022 models. Toyota. Let's go places.
Governor Evers toured the new SSM Health Unit at Ripon Community Hospital today, getting a look at Wisconsin's $158,000 investment to help launch the program. This mental health unit is a first of its kind. Once fully staffed, the mental health unit will cater to patients who have low-risk mental health or substance use concerns. It's for patients who don't meet the criteria for inpatient care but still need extra help. It can handle 8 patients at a time who can take part in the voluntary program for up to 23 hours. During the stay, they complete an assessment, therapy, and connect with a case manager about their next steps while they wait for outpatient services.
I wanted to see Wisconsin communities succeed for years to come. Then we need to make these investments today to build long-term sustainable well-being for tomorrow. And that's exactly what we're here to celebrate.
Ripon Community Hospital leaders say their patient base will go well beyond Fond du Lac County. La Crosse is the 3rd city in the U.S. to be designated a heart-safe community by the Citizen CPR Foundation. A heart-safe community designation is given to towns that meet 13 criteria. Some of those include building public awareness of cardiac arrest and treatment, training 15% of the population to help someone in cardiac arrest, and having an AED registry. The executive director of Gunderson Tri-State Ambulance says having informed citizens can help save more lives.
We as professional EMS providers or responders in hospitals, it's one thing, but what it really is important is that the person who witnesses a cardiac arrest at the scene of a cardiac arrest in our community initiates 911, initiates CPR, and looks for an AED.
The La Crosse Fire Department led the movement to reach the criteria for the heart-safe community designation. Coming up tonight at 10, Xcel Energy says customers can expect an increase in their heating bills this winter. Company leaders say a majority of the rise in prices is from the high cost for natural gas.
And I'm Chief Meteorologist Bill Grahl. Frosty conditions for parts of the area the next 3 nights. I'll have all the details with my 8-day forecast after the break.
Thank you for watching News 8 La Crosse. Here are tonight's winning Powerball numbers.
It's fast food and service with authentic Mexican flavor at Senor Villa. With fun daily specials and cold, refreshing margaritas you won't want to miss. Come to Senor Villa in La Crosse and on Alaska. Authentic Mexican food and flavor.
For your next roofing, window, or bathroom project, don't get caught in a vicious cycle with Bush League contractors. Barrel it up and call your home improvement company today. It's not a stretch to say that your home improvement company is the MVP contractor in Twins territory. Whether your home needs a simple change-up, you're in a pinch for a quick hitter improvement, or you're going for a moonshot remodeling project, your home improvement company is ready to step up to the plate, even if their owner is a bit of a blooper. Hey, I'm just spitballing here.
Meet Brad Path. He never had a job outside of politics. Seriously, he hung around long enough to climb that political ladder. He'll never fix Washington. He won't even try. Me, I spent 26 years fighting for our country. I served as a Navy SEAL, and I know how to get things done. I'm Derek Van Orden, and I approve this message. Let's try something different. Let's change the people we're sending to D.C.
News 8 Now and Dairyland Power Cooperative present Our Community Cares.
Join us on Saturday, October 1st for the Maple Leaf Walk Run to help benefit the Y annual campaign. Start and end at Riverside Park in La Crosse. Register online. Apple Fair takes place on October 1st at the Trempealeau County Fairgrounds in Galesville. Pancake breakfast starting at 8 a.m. with the world-famous 10-foot apple pie served from noon until gone.
For more information on these events, or if you'd like to submit an event, visit news8000.com.
I'm Dave Estenson, and I've been a lot of things. Law enforcement officer, long-haul trucker, small businessman, school board member, and a bull rider. I got tired of saying someone should do something. So I'm running for state senate to back the badge and help stop crime, fix our roads and the supply chain, bring common sense back to our schools, and stop the bull. Because I quit that a long time ago. I'm Dave Estenson, and I'd appreciate your vote.
Ladies, are you tired of the same old happy hour? How about buy one, get one free margaritas? Join us for fun and fiesta on Adelita Wednesdays, only at Senor Villa. Authentic Mexican food and flavor.
CityCam 8 is brought to you by The Board Store. Ever wonder what a bath remodel would do for your soul? Rejoice! The Board Store can help you find that joy with a new tub or shower or a complete bath remodel. Call or visit today.
Xcel Energy says its customers can expect a 23% increase in their heating bills this winter. That amounts to an extra $200 a month. According to a spokesperson, the company says the price increase is not because of price gouging, but instead because the price of natural gas has reached a 15-year high.
That is a pass-through to our customers. Less than 1% of that increase is due to costs from Xcel Energy. So I think it's important for customers to know that we do not profit from the increase in natural gas. We do not mark that up.
Xcel Energy says there are ways to prepare for higher heating costs this winter. Some of them include getting furnaces inspected and getting furnace filters cleaned now. Getting blindsided by hidden fees when you travel might be coming to an end. President Biden has announced new rules to make airlines and travel sites to be more transparent about the extra fees they charge you. The rules would force those groups to tell you up front about fees like charging to sit with your child, for changing or canceling a flight, and baggage fees. It's all in an effort to show customers the true cost of the services they're looking up. This rule doesn't just go into effect right away, though. A 60-day period is required to field public comments before any final decision. Target is looking to bolster its holiday season staff. The retail company hopes to hire up to 100,000 people to deal with the future shopping demand. Target also plans to extend its popular holiday price match guarantee later this year. Fall colors are beginning to come back to the Coulee region. You may have already noticed some reds and oranges in your morning or afternoon commutes. The color changes are thanks to the plants drawing chlorophyll away from the leaves and back to the center. Experts say a full burst of color is still some weeks away, but the cool and crisp evenings that are coming our way will help the process.
So as long as it stays not too dry, I think we're in for a pretty good year.
Leaves are predicted to peak the second week in October. All right, time to switch it up and talk some weather with First Alert Chief Meteorologist Bill Grahl.
Yeah, of course, for those good colors, you want kind of dry, sunny days. Cool, crisp nights. You don't want heavy rain, and you don't want very windy conditions either. And you really don't want really cold temperatures, because that frost can kind of weight the leaves down and take them off a little bit sooner than they normally would fall. But we do have some chilly temperatures in the forecast for the next 3 nights, which you'll see in just a moment. First of all, the high temperatures over the past 5 days, generally below average going back to last Thursday. Highs in the 60s, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. 73 yesterday, and then today, I can actually update that now to 64 degrees for the official high. But again, first things first, alert night tonight due to that frost potential in our northern and eastern communities, including Dunn, Chippewa, Eau Claire counties, Clark, Jackson, Monroe, and Juneau counties as well. 2 o'clock to 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, temperatures there could fall into the lower to middle 30s, so cover or bring in those sensitive plants if you want to keep them alive. Also, keep care of those outdoor plumbing facilities. Disconnect the garden hoses, things like that. Now, I will caution you that even colder temperatures are expected tomorrow night and into Wednesday morning, so just keep that in mind. Here's the forecast lows for tonight. Some mid to upper 30s in eastern parts of the county, right around 41 or so in La Crosse, Onalaska, and La Crescent. Upper 30s to low 40s down to the south, maybe some 37s though in Westby, Lafarge, Hillsborough. Low to mid 30s, as I mentioned, in Monroe and Jackson counties up into Clark County as well. Probably mid to upper 30s for lows in the Eau Claire area. Currently, skies are clear, and our temperature today topped out at 64 degrees. Our low is our current number, 48. 71 and 50 are the averages, 90 and 29 the records for today. 48 out at the airport, still 50 downtown at the station. Light north to northwest wind at about 5 here in La Crosse, and up in Eau Claire at about 6 miles per hour. So with those lighter winds and the clear sky, that's why temperatures are starting to drop. Already down into the 40s in La Crosse and Eau Claire, but some 30s in our traditional colder spots, Sparta and Black River Falls, and where you see those blue colors, that's where temperatures are in the 30s already. And again, it was kind of breezy today, but winds have really come down generally 8 miles per hour or less across the region, and with mainly clear skies, good ingredients for those temperatures to drop as the main area of low pressure now over the eastern lakes. Northwest flow aloft, that's why temperatures are below average, and skies will be mostly clear for most of the night. Just a few high clouds towards sunrise, and then sunny to partly cloudy tomorrow. Best chance for some scattered clouds in our eastern communities. Mainly clear tomorrow night. That's why it's going to be so cold. And then highs on Wednesday still below average, but at least we'll see plenty of sunshine for our Wednesdays. So for tonight, mostly clear. That areas of frost potential in our northern and eastern communities. Lows in the Cross around 41. 59 tomorrow, sunny to partly cloudy. North to northwest breeze 5 to 15, gusting to 20. Even colder tomorrow night, 35 in the Cross. We could see some mid to upper 20s in our traditional colder spots of the north and east. So a widespread frost and or freeze potential. Cool on Wednesday, 61. More patchy frost Wednesday night, 39. And then look at the warm up though, 68 as we kick off Oktoberfest on Thursday, lower to middle 70s for the tapping on Friday, and that big maple leaf parade on Saturday, looking like absolutely beautiful Oktoberfest weather Thursday through Sunday with dry conditions and plenty of sunshine as well.
All right, couldn't ask for much more in a few days.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bill.
Okay.
Coming up in sports, the NFL Pro Bowl as you know it is pretty much over, and a lighter fare is coming your way. Plus, a young hero emerging for the Packers wide receiver group. Rob's up next after the break.
News 8 Sports is brought to you by Mayo Clinic Health System. Whether you need routine care or treatment for a complex condition, Mayo Clinic Health System has convenient and safe options for the care you and your family need.
Run forward and give back at the YMCA Maple Leaf Walk Run presented by Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning. Join us in person or virtual with a 5K, 5-mile, half marathon, and kids fun run, an event for everyone. Register at laxymca.org.
I received a call that my granddaughter had been hit. She suffered a serious brain injury and nearly died. The driver should have been in jail. Mandela Barnes supports no cash bail that puts criminals like Darrell Brooks back on the streets. He's more worried about criminals than victims. Mandela Barnes doesn't have the judgment to keep our communities safe.
Senate Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Classic Antique and Collector Car Auction, Winona, Minnesota, October 7th and 8th. Everyone welcome is a buyer, seller, or spectator. Midwest's largest collector car auction. Consign now and turn your classic into cash. Find out more at RemlingerAuctions.com or call 507-450-3173 today. RemlingerAuctions.com.
Ron Johnson's at it again, lying about my taxes. Let's be clear, my taxes are paid in full, but there were times I was getting by on peanut butter sandwiches. And that's why I support a tax cut for the middle class. Put more money in your pockets, because I know how hard you work. But Johnson used his Senate seat to write a loophole that gave huge tax cuts to himself and his biggest donors, leaving us with crumbs. And that's how we get left behind. I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
Run forward and give back at the YMCA Maple Leaf Walk Run presented by Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning. Join us in person or virtual with a 5K, 5-mile, half marathon, and kids fun run, an event for everyone. Register at laxymca.org.
News 8 Now Sports is brought to you by Mayo Health System. Here's News 8 Now's Rob Schiff.
It wasn't the prettiest win the Packers ever got, but a win is a win, especially when it's on the road against Tom Brady. And after a rough Week 1 performance, the Green and Gold have now won 2 straight. It was a great start for Green Bay on Sunday. The Packers making it look easy early on. 2 long touchdown drives had Green Bay up 11 with just under 9 minutes to go in the half. But that was it for points. All the onus being put on the Packers defense to keep this one in reach. And that's exactly what they did. 14-12 the final from Tampa, as the Packers improved to 2-1 on the year. A familiar face was back for the Pack yesterday. David Bakhtiari hadn't played since Week 18 of last season, but the 10-year pro finally back on the field for Green Bay. He split series with Yosh Nijman on Sunday, so Bakhtiari playing 34 of the 61 snaps for the Packers. After the game, Bakhtiari said the adrenaline makes it hard to gauge where he's at physically, but he says it felt great to be back with his teammates and get an important win on the road.
I think for
our season and this team, and then particularly, for the guys that were here in 2020. And then, I mean, even for me, I got knocked out of this game. I remember it's when I broke my rib. So to come back out here and finish the game, beat them, there's a lot of positive takeaways. I'm just fortunate, blessed, happy.
Now, it wasn't the most memorable performance offensively by the Packers, but one bright spot from Sunday was the rookie Romeo Doubs. How about this? 8 catches on the day, 73 yards, including the team's first touchdown of the game. And Green Bay needed every bit of it with Christian Watson and Sammy Watson sidelined. Doubs shined. He scored his first career TD, and this could be the start of something special for this Packers offense.
I thought he made the most of them yesterday. I thought he did an outstanding job. He was a guy that showed up consistently, being able to separate versus the man coverage. The game is certainly not too big for him. I think you see it. I feel it every time we go out there, a guy that's just showing more and more confidence. And I think that's a big part of being able to play to your potential. And this is a kid that's got a ton of potential.
I'm just ready to move forward from whatever's happening. And I understand, it was a big game, but I mean, that's just part of the game. Whatever, performance. I mean, if it was a bad performance, I'd be the same way. And all right, good. Just making sure I just stay true to who I am.
Such a humble guy. Packers are back at home next weekend, looking to make it 3 in a row as they host the Patriots. Big win for the Vikings as well. Minnesota back at home Sunday after a tough loss Monday night. For most of this one, it looked like the Lions were going to get the upset, but the Vikings waking up late, 14 unanswered in the fourth quarter, capped off by this KJ Osborne touchdown in the final minute, and Minnesota escaping with a 28-24 win.
Simply with the group of guys that we have, we're never out of it. With the coach that we have leading the way, we're never out of it. So just lean on one another as you see out there, and it all came together at the end of the day.
Vikings head overseas next weekend to take on the Saints. And after years of talking about ways to change the Pro Bowl, the NFL is finally doing something about it. The league announcing that the game will be replaced by a week-long skills competition in Las Vegas, culminating with a flag football game the Sunday before the Super Bowl. Peyton Manning will actually help shape the programming and promote the event's content throughout the week. It actually feels like this game has been a flag football game for the past few years.
I mean, nobody wants to get hurt. And I believe they say this is still going to be before the Super Bowl, which kind of kills any enthusiasm about it. Everybody's looking forward to the Super Bowl.
Right, and you lose all the players that are going to be in the Super Bowl already.
And those are the best ones, too, sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, it sounds good. It's a change, but I think it's just going to be the same.
Yeah, most likely. Thanks, Rob.
You got it.
More news after the break.
Under Governor Evers, hard-working Wisconsin families are being left behind. We're paying more for food, gas, everything. And Tony Evers tried to make us pay even more, a 20% gas tax increase, doubling the tax on home heating bills. And while Evers puts the squeeze on us, he wanted to give taxpayer-funded benefits to people who refuse to work. He even opposes drug testing welfare recipients. Tony Evers is leaving hard-working Wisconsin families behind.
Dear gas prices, Toyota's hybrid lineup says, go take a hike. Because we bring efficiency with power and savings with style. Think you can stand in our way? We got this. Toyota Hybrids.
Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, our no-cost maintenance plan with roadside assistance. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
When we got pregnant with Lizzie, we were so excited. So when the complications started, it was really scary.
We never considered ending the pregnancy, but those are the kinds of decisions only a family can make. But Derek Van Orden wants the government to do it, banning all abortions, even when a woman's life is at risk.
I'm Betty.
I'm Lizzie.
And I'm Brad Paff. I approve this message because I'll never stop fighting for your right to choose.
There's a reason big dental bills often come as a shock, because sometimes you don't realize what's not covered until you get the bill. That's why affordable dental insurance from Physicians Mutual is important. It can give you benefits that go beyond what you get from more limited coverage plans. Because no one likes a big dental bill, especially if you're retired or on a fixed income. For a free information kit, call or go online now. This isn't some discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps cover over 350 procedures, like cleanings, fillings, crowns, bridges, root canals, even dentures, at any dentist you want. Dental insurance from Physicians Mutual Insurance Company helps cover preventive care, basic work, and major procedures, with no deductibles and no annual maximum. For your free information kit with all the details, call now or visit sendinfokit.com.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
A pair of special birds from the La Crosse area are finishing up their rehab at the Raptor Education Group in Anago. 2 young barn owls were found after the storm blew their nest over. They were the first barn owls seen in Wisconsin in decades. Reporter Hannah Borchert checked in on the owls just days before they head to their new home in the wild.
These baby barn owls are a rare sight. They were found in a tree in a yard in La Crosse.
Everyone was very excited that they were there, the first nest in 20 years.
It's also been that long since the Raptor Education Group has cared for a wild barn owl. The babies came in weak and unable to eat on their own after a storm knocked down the tree they had been living in. So Reggie brought them in for some tender love and care from staff and their new foster mom.
We have a female barn owl. She's a European barn owl, but we put them with her so she could, take over and they wouldn't be as nervous and as upset.
On Monday, Reggie gave them a physical exam to see if they're ready to head off on their own.
Well, it was a really exciting day. This is the last day that they're going to be handled, and they're going to be released in the southern part of the state tomorrow.
On their wings, you can often see stress marks if they've gone through something traumatic, which can prevent them from flying. Luckily, they've received a clean bill of health on their feathers, eyes, hearts, and experts say they're the perfect weight. They'll be taken to the southern part of the state on Tuesday, where they'll stay 7 days so they can get accustomed to the sounds and the environment before they head back into the wild.
And if you want to help support the barn owl population, Wisconsin's DNR says you can leave dead trees up if it's safe, avoid using pesticides, and report any sightings of the birds. Cute story. We'll be right back to wrap things up.
Sick of running out of hot water? The professionals at Maxwell White are here to handle all of your water heater needs. Our licensed technicians can install, repair, or replace any type of water heater with same-day or next-day service. Call Maxwell White. Plumbing done right.
They're destroying America and our livelihoods. Now, DC elites are spending big on Brad Paff. The same Beltway bigwigs who wasted taxpayer money that bailed out elite golf courses and luxury hotels are now bankrolling Brad Paff's campaign because Brad Paff supported their big spending, price-hiking, reckless schemes. And that's why we can't send him to Washington. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Chevy Silverado. It's got the power you want and the capability you need to do the job so you can get to the important work. Find new moments, find new roads. Get a $500 cash allowance on all 2022 Silverado pickups with a 2.7-liter turbo engine. Plus, now during truck season, get a $1,000 accessory allowance toward a new Chevy truck with accessories. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Joe Biden on Medicare for All.
It's going to raise taxes on middle-class people.
Medicare for All would double your income taxes, ban employer-provided and union health plans, and bankrupt Medicare for seniors. Mandela Barnes still supports Bernie Sanders' socialist takeover of your health care.
Medicare for All is the easiest way to get us to universal health care.
Mandela Barnes, more liberal than Joe Biden, way too liberal for Wisconsin.
I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message.
Violent crime up across Wisconsin. Families nervous about their safety. Yet Mandela Barnes called for releasing half of Wisconsin's jailed inmates. That would mean releasing over 10,000 criminals right into our neighborhoods. 10,000 reasons your family would be in more danger. Barnes also supported defunding the police. 10,000 more criminals with fewer police to protect us. What could go wrong? Wisconsin Truth Bank is responsible for the content of this advertising.
We at Maxwell White pride ourselves on delivering honest, dependable plumbing services, whether it's a repair, installation, or any number of other needs. With our full-stocked warehouse and trucks, our licensed technicians are ready to serve you. So don't just choose anyone, choose Maxwell White.
Well, get ready for 3 chilly nights in a row. Tomorrow night will be the coldest, but some areas of frost tonight, north and east. That's where a frost advisory is in play from 2 to 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Low to mid 30s there. We'll be closer to 40 here in the Cross. Tomorrow night, we will dip into the mid 30s here in the Cross, maybe some 20s to the north and east. Highs tomorrow around 59 degrees. Still cool on Wednesday.
Oh, the rest of that week looks really darn good.
70s by the weekend.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks for joining us tonight. See you tomorrow.